Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. It wasn't my fault, says Charles after crush that injured cop. Former Speaker of the House of Parliament, Colonel Charles Sr., says he was not at fault in a traffic collision that left a cop injured on Thursday. A policeman was injured after his motorbike collided with a vehicle being driven by the retired politician. It is understood that the cop, a constable assigned to the Hunts Bay Traffic Unit, had to be rushed to hospital after the collision, which occurred on Perkins Boulevard at the foot of Queens Hill in St. Andrew. Charles Sr., in an interview at the scene of the incident, sought to distance himself from any wrongdoing in the incident. "I came off Queens Hill, stopped, looked left, looked right, no vehicle, and I was making a right turn. Then I saw a police bike coming uncontrollable, and he ran into my side," Charles Sr. said. "He got his forehead busted on my window, for which I am very sorry. In my opinion, I am in the right," he said. The 85-year-old Charles Sr. retired from active politics in 2020 after 5 decades of involvement with the trade union movement and the ruling Jamaica Labour Party (JLP). His son, Colonel Charles Jr., is the current Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and Member of Parliament for South East Clarendon. His daughter Michelle is MP for Eastern St. Thomas. Pregnant woman among 2 killed in Westmoreland. A 4-month pregnant woman was among 2 people fatally shot in Westmoreland on Wednesday night. The deceased are 24-year-old Tashin Copeland of Noncontact Road and Dwayne Robinson, a bike taxi operator of a Whitehall address, both in Negril. Copeland was a pillion on the bike taxi driven by Robinson when, upon reaching a section of Noncontact Road, the two were ambushed by gunmen at around 11 p.m. Robinson reportedly lost control of the motorcycle, which crashed in a business establishment. 57-year-old tour bus operator shot dead in Hanover. A 54-year-old tour bus operator was shot dead at a business establishment in Green Island, Hanover, approximately 150 feet from the police station. He has been identified as Fitzroy Watson, otherwise called Culture of Call District in the parish. Reports from the Green Island Police are that about 9:40 p.m., Watson was at his business place located along the Green Island Main Road when a white motor car drove up and 2 men armed with handgun and rifle alighted from the vehicle. The men reported they entered the establishment and opened fire. Watson was pronounced dead at hospital, was sprayed with bullets all over his body. The men later escaped in the waiting motor car. Trial adjourned for 7 weeks. Chief Justice Brent Cass on Wednesday chided the police and the Crown in the trial involving 33 alleged members of the deadly Klansman gang for bundling its case in the handing of cellular phones data called records, which are being counted as a key part of the evidence. His comments forced the Crown's call for a further hiatus when the trial resumed on Wednesday on the heels of the 7-day break, which they last week requested to pour over a report from the Communication Forensics and Cybercrime Division (CFCD) of the Constabulary. The report was generated following analysis of critical call data recorded and cell site details received from the island's telecoms providers linked to taped conversations between alleged members of the gang and confiscated handsets. The court last Wednesday had indicated that a week would be sufficient time to absorb the material and advance its case. However, when the matter resumed on Wednesday morning, a senior prosecutor indicated that the Crown had not been able to go through the volume of material amounting to more than 57,000 files. "Though we have tried, we have not been able to go through all the material as yet to be able to determine what it is that we will be relying on and to determine which witnesses we will be calling on or will propose to call to present the evidence. So, my lord, I come this morning begging for more time," the senior prosecutor said. The prosecution also said it had faced further delays in disclosing that report to the defense as the information could not fit on the portal it has been using to share information with the defense since the start of the trial based on the size. The Chief Justice, in granting a 7-week adjournment, said, "This whole question of the telephone record, I must say, and this is by way of observation, it is clear to me it was not thought through properly from the investigative process. So what we have here really is a combination of unpreparedness from beginning to end, and that is why we were here. We are now because from what is being said, these conversations alleged to have been recorded didn't take place last week or last year or last month. So in terms of the management of information during the investigation process, the collating of that information didn't happen, the trial's judge stated. Now, this investigation was going on from 2018, so it's one of two things. It is either that the provider wasn't asked to provide the information, which would be remarkable in and of itself, or the provider was asked but refused to provide, the Chief Justice reasoned. The call data and cell site records have been submitted in late December after weeks of haranguing, which saw the Crown even threaten to invoke the powers of the court to halt the island's telecom providers before the tribunal in respect of the records to end the impasse. The trial began last September. Commenting further on the issue on Wednesday, the Chief Justice said that the saga with the telecom providers will need further scrutiny. The question is the legal framework within which the provision of the information is to take place. If the framework of the present statute allows the provider to pick and choose if, when, where, and why, what means the information is going to be provided, then that's a serious deficiency. If the law is clear on that, then it now becomes a question of those who are responsible for investigating and prosecuting, using the law to get the information in a timely manner, he reasoned. Pointing to the establishment of time standard by the judiciary in respect of the disposal of cases, the Chief Justice said the nature of the present gang trial required that a sufficient amount of work must be done before it comes into the court system. All of this now is taking place in a context in which we're trying to establish that our time standard is 24 months from point to entry, regardless of how complicated the case is to final disposition. We have to put that culture and that mentality behind us, and so cases of this nature have to now come in substantially complete, Chief Justice stated. According to the Chief Justice, while the prosecution has an ongoing duty of disclosure, it is not in all cases that the attorneys representing the defendants are going to have the resources to analyze and go through the information. So that now becomes a problem because on that hand, here we have the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the police force with facilities and technical persons to analyze data. Now what if the defense want to conduct their own analysis of the data? What then? So this whole process of managing these cases really has to be rethought and different and more effective strategies, processed, procedures used, he pointed out. I gather that there are other cases of similar nature waiting to be tried, so there has to be some rethinking here. And these cases really, once they start, they really need to go until they end because of the volume of the information, and you want to keep the currency of the information and don't lose the feel of the case. That's why we have been pressing to have it done in continuous sittings, he further stated. In the meantime, the Chief Justice said the 7-week break, which will see the trial resuming on May 1, will affect the judiciary plan to resume jury trials, which have been put on hold in early 2020 due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. So in effect, where we are in the jury trials are scheduled to resume, and some of those cases are now known will have to be rescheduled because of 2 of our main courts are taken up with the trial. Because I have no doubt that some of the attorneys here represent defendants who are to be tried before a jury, we have to rethink all of this, the Chief Justice advised. In the meantime, the Chief Justice said when the matter resumed on May 2nd, the trial must proceed. We are making every effort to get to the end of the prosecution's case in the shortest possible time, he said, adding, it is almost laughable to say shortest. Yesterday, Senior Defense Attorney Lloyd McFarlane, speaking on behalf of his colleague, said, of course, we're in the court's hand. I just have a sense of trepidation that we are going to be flooded with disclosure. We will never really be able to go through all of this material whilst this trial is going on. L.A. Lewis files assault charges against Grange, demands apology. Self-styled Maroon Empire, L.A. Lewis, say he is giving Culture Minister Oliver Babsy Grange 24 hours to issue a formal apology to him or face the court for allegedly assaulting him. Lewis told reporters that the minister must apologize by 3 p.m. on Friday, March 25th for alleged assaulting and causing him embarrassment by having him physically removed from a venue in Trenchtown during the visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge to the community on Tuesday. "We are giving her 24 hours to apologize. She insulted the Maroon government. She wasn't acting diplomatical," he said. He alleged that Grain used her fingernails to hurt him in the back while he was conducting interviews with members of the media. "It was hot, but me no make it look away through the press and the media was in front of me," he said. "She deal with me like I was a piece of trash. That hurt me coming from a woman like that," Lewis stated. In a viral video, Lewis was seen walking to members of the media when the minister approached him and tapped him on the back. She then motioned to a man who was at a first camera and said, "Deal with that for me." Lewis said he was approached by men who said they were under instruction from the minister to remove him from the area. He said he did not want the matter to escalate any further, so he left the compound. He said as he was leaving, a policeman instructed him to report the matter to the police station. He eventually went to the Trenchtown police station where the matter was reported. L.A. Lewis is being represented by attorney Charles Gangasingh in the matter. "My client is taking this alleged physical attack on him by Minister Bobsy Grange very seriously, and to note that laws of Jamaica are applicable to any minister in the same manner as anyone else," said Gangasingh. Efforts to contact Grange were unsuccessful up to publication time. DCS resumes non-contact visits at adult institutions. The Department of Correctional Services (DCS) will resume non-contact visits at adult institutions effective Monday, March 28. The resumption follows the withdrawal of the Disaster Risk Management Act (DRMA) on Friday, March 18. In 2020, the DCS disclosed visits to correctional institutions to prevent the introduction of the COVID-19 virus within correctional centers. At the beginning of this month, the department had resumed non-contact visits within the juvenile institutions. The DCS said it continues to maintain strict adherence to all COVID-19 protocols. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.